Okay, let's see here. So you just said I'm heading west.
Yes.
Well, actually, is my periscope there at 330? Is that me kind of 45 degrees off the bow?
Yeah.
Okay, looking through the scope 45 degrees off the bow. Okay, um, let's, am I at periscope depth?
You are.
Okay, what's my speed?
That's what I would want to ask you. What speed did you want to be moving at?
Slow to 2 knots, and let's do a hydrophone sweep to see if we can pick up any contacts.
All right, 2 knots.
We're submerged, right?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
submerged.
All right, yeah, let's just listen for hydrophone contacts.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Oh, well, we hear all the dogs, don't we? Let's see here. Okay, I don't know if the audio's working. I'm only recording this on my desktop. I'm not live streaming, but let's just see what happens. Let's not mess with that. Okay, let's go here to our tabletop simulator. And let me see here. Let me see here. I built a module a long time ago for naval stuff. I don't even know if I have a submarine in here. I do. And that looks like a Type 7, which is what I believe I have. Okay, so I got my U-boat here. And I am heading west. So if I were to... we'll go ahead and use yellow just because. And we'll just go... We'll write a W here. And that is written on there just fine. And an N here for north. And then we're going to write the letter E here for east, although it's German, it should be an O, right? And here we are, S for south. Okay. All right, and we're going to put our boat somewhat to the south. Now, we do have Allied boats, about 3 of them in our pack. So we're going to put them somewhere off here to the north. Now, we don't know exactly how far they are, but we will presume, let's do some transparency here. That way we just kind of have these dots, and we'll put them in like a green color. Let's do a transparent green. Okay, so if that's me, and boy are these things tiny, aren't they? One here. This will just highlight them. And we don't know the actual position. We just know roughly we have a north-south line here. Actually, if I were smart, I would move everything here. And then I would erase these and make the highlights here. So this is me. This is my closest neighbor. My next closest neighbor. And then my third closest neighbor. All right. So now I have that. Now, the reason I'm redrawing it should be obvious. It's just that we are to the east of the convoy, which is sailing east. Okay, so we're going to put down in red, I suppose. We're going to draw the convoy. We're going to draw a, right there, question mark, because we don't know where they are. My first order, if you were able to hear it, was to basically dive and do a hydrophone sweep, because we want to see or hear, not see, we want to hear the direction of the fleet. Let's see if I have a merchant ship or anything in here. I do. I have a freighter. Okay, and I have a destroyer. So let's do those two. Let's copy this. Let's copy this. Okay, and now let's put the baddies, who are actually the good guys, around there. All right, so now I have a module built, and we will see. Oh, there's Argos. Argos! Come here, Argos! Oh, he's not going to come here. He's busy with something. All right, we're going to see now what report we get. I'm going to minimize my thing here. As I get screenshots too, I'll share them with you. Okay, it looks like all the umpires are in umpire, or they're in voice ones. They're talking to one of the captains. All right, so there's nothing going on right now. Just gonna have to wait. All right, this is my view. Right here, more or less. You can imagine the waves are moving. Apparently the hour is 2:36 in the morning. So we know it's not me at this telescope or periscope, because I'm asleep at that hour. Oh, here's the dogs. Hey, Zephyr. Hey. Oh, they're following their mom. All right. All right, let's wait and see what happens. All right, just to update everybody, we have created our own improvised module for our under the sea naval battle. And we are here and the bad guys are, we are here. The bad guys are here, approximately. We don't know exactly. Everything is very approximate, speculative. And as we get more information, we can draw our map and position everything on it and figure more out. Let's get our compass down. That is a useless compass right here. This one here is a little more useful. Okay, so we're going to use this. Okay. And that's about right. Okay. We'll be using this to direct our activities. Could even put the U-boat on it. And And since we now know which one is us, we really don't have to have a orange around it. All right, there we are. Well, hello, Mr. Argos. Hello. Sorry you guys can't see Argos. Let's see. I wonder if I can turn camera on here. I would have to set it up in OBS. How do I do that? Audio, browser, color, display, image, media source, video capture device. There we go. And there I am. Here we are. All right, now let's just move that down. Mr. Argos, come here. Argos, come here. Come here. Come here, boy. There's Argos. There you are. Hey, say hi to everybody. Say hi. No? Argos? No, Argos. Oh my gosh. That's paper, Argos. Why are you going to eat paper? Come here. Argos. Oh, we don't want you to eat paper. That is not going to be good for you. All right, Mr. Argos. Oh boy. I'm pretty sure you dogs ate more paper, didn't you? Wow. Argos, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Yeah. How was your snack? How was your snack? Yeah. All right. That was Argos. Let's check back because I was down making tea. Okay, we've got... All right, we got a message, and the message is 0242. Bird Grape 495, 175, Potato 147, 292, 10. All right, I know that doesn't mean anything to you guys, but then we got Melon Strawberry 5033Q, Potato 21EF. Okay, then that's because we've got a code. So Bird is the other U-boat. He's telling us grape, which means that the convoy is to the southwest. Yep, southwest. And the convoy's heading is, okay, east. Okay. Okay. No sightings. Well, of course there's no sightings, but have I not heard anything? Because sound carries a lot farther underwater. My initial orders were to, at periscope depth, do a hydrophone sounding, but apparently there's nothing. So, having to decode everything here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh boy. All right, my tea is ready. Let me see though if the umpires are out. No, the umpires are not. So I'm going to grab my tea and be right back. Hope I get back before the umpires do.
Capitan Marshall,
Yes, go ahead.
you continue westward at 2 knots, scanning the horizon with your periscope, and you see star shells firing into the sky. They're about to illuminate over you, coming from the southwest. It's kind of hard to see with the roiling waves, but maybe 4 miles away to the southwest is where it came from.
All right. And do I have a hydrophone contact?
No hydrophone contacts, nope.
Really? But I would see star shells. Okay, orders are to proceed periscope down, stay at periscope depth, proceed west at 4 knots, and let's continue to listen on the hydrophone for high-speed screws, please. Listening for destroyers. Thank you. Okay, so not sure if I should have accelerated, but I'm very baffled that the hydrophone doesn't hear anything, but I can see stuff. Generally speaking, sound carries for many miles under the water, even further than you would see on the surface, quite a bit further, in fact. But now it is what it is. Now I'm hearing, or I'm seeing star shells to my southwest. So that means I have to move this motley crew of boats up here because this information is no longer valid. So I have to update my map. And the purpose of this map is to serve me. Therefore, the positions have to suit, have to be relative to to my experience, you know, if that makes sense. It's my tool for myself. So let's see here. So I'm going to put myself a little further here, okay, and then I'm going to put my allies up here. And of course, because these things are so tiny. Okay, so that's that. All right, now, star shells, 4 miles to my southwest. So let's see if I've got anything that looks like a star shell. I don't think so. Oh boy. Let's just take everything out. Just for fun. Just to look at all the cool stuff. All right. And there is not a star shell in here, is there? This here might be the closest, or this here is probably the closest. Fire small. So we'll do that. All right, we're going to take the rest of these and we're going to put them back into where they came from. And why didn't it go into the bag? Oh, well. We can just delete everything, can't we? All right, so star shell at 4 miles. We don't know what 4 miles is on here, but we're going to make something up. And we're just going to call this about 4 miles, right? Right there. And that's because it's pretty close to the edge. And it just kind of works. All right, so now if this guy is here and he's throwing star shells more or less over my position, we're going to just say it's there. And there is no screenshot. So we no longer need the question mark here because we know that we got something going on. So let's pick a nice little color for the bad guys, and we're going to basically draw a box or something around here to represent the approximate enemy position. All right, and that's it. Okay, so there we go. Now, here's the problem. Here's the dilemma, right? I could use our very convoluted but effective communication system to tell people, hey, I see this, or I mean, you know, I have some sort of a star shell contact that I magically know came from the southwest about 4 miles, or I keep my mouth shut. And I'm going to keep my mouth shut because if I communicate, then the enemy would use high frequency direction finding to locate my boat. And they would then send a hunter-killer group out to attack me, or detach at least 1 or 2 destroyers to hunt me down. Of corvettes, whatever they got going. Probably destroyers. So. We just gotta wait. Now we are heading 4 mile or at 4 knots, but the turn is 10 minutes. So if we are going 4 knots, let's see here. We need to, well, first of all, let's use the metric system. And let's say if we're here and this is here, it's not too bad. Let's say ,100 centimeters is a mile. In which case we're kind of a little closer, but whatever. Put ourselves there. All right. Okay, we're here, and we are moving at 4 knots. Okay, that means 100 centimeters in 1 hour. No, I'm sorry. That would be 400. That's 4 miles, 4 knots, 4 nautical miles, 6,000 feet each. Let's see here at 400. And we're moving 1/6 of that. That's going to put us about so. Okay, so let us do. Let's do it like this. All right. We're going to kind of eyeball it. I don't like the line I drew. We're going to use the line tool. All right. And then we're going to go out. Let's just say we're going to go out to about there. All right, that's close enough. OCD here is not letting me leave that there. All right, so there's star shell approximately here. So, all right, so why aren't I worried about the star shell? I only had my periscope up. I'm assuming the periscope was detected by radar, although I think I was told enemy didn't have radar. That's right. So it's earlier in the war, they don't have surface radar, or at least they're not getting us on surface radar. They probably didn't get the scope on the radar. So if that's the case, then the star shell, they wouldn't see the periscope at 4 miles, even if it were broad daylight out. The fact that they're casting a star shell in my direction and pretty much right over me could just be luck on their part. And it could be that they are trying to herd us away or ward us off, if you will, by throwing star shells clear that far. But it doesn't seem to be particularly practical. In any case, I've lowered the scope because we're not going to see anything at 4 miles. And if we were on the surface, we might see something out there on the horizon. I think visibility at sea level on the sea is between 3 to 6 miles, closer to 3 miles, I think. Maybe it's 6, I can't remember, but it's 3 to 6 miles, somewhere there. But with the sea state and me being below the surface of the water, yeah, I've got the periscope up there. But I'm going to assume that my visibility is maybe 4 miles at best. So we're just going to move this direction and wait and see what happens.
Mic off. Mic on.
All right. So we've got another one of our cryptic Cap Melon Strawberry 307556 lime. Okay. I can try to translate that in a second. All right, yeah, we've got a couple messages from Dog now. $2.48.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, wait a second. My messages just went away. I guess they posted them by mistake, perhaps. Fortunately, they were so much in code that I did not decipher them in time. Okay, still no updates. Yeah, I don't know under what scenario I use any kind of radio communications. The doctrine of the period was the first sub to make contact would shadow the convoy and communicate, and then everybody else would just kind of use that to hone in or home in. But as far as I know, they didn't communicate too much, or they tried to keep it to a minimum simply because there was so much danger, especially as the war went on. And so I'm not running on the surface. If the convoy's headed my direction, why do I need to be on the surface racing towards it? Let it come to me. But I sure would like a hydrophone bearing. Once I get 2 or 3 hydrophone bearings, I can really nail down the speed, course, and position of the convoy and position myself without putting myself at risk on the surface. Even the periscope I don't need until I'm ready to make a run. I'm only going to get about 1 shot at best, and that's if I even end up in position. And if these guys turn on their sonar, then I should get a pretty good contact, but we'll see. Updates are taking just a little longer than I would think. We got, I don't know how many umpires. I think it's 3 or 4 umpires, 8 players in total. 4 on each side, I think, is what we have. I think. Yeah, 1 umpire to 2 player ratio is pretty darn good. However, the mechanics of this could be a little complicated or difficult, or there could be a learning curve with the mechanics. So those things can slow it down. That can bottleneck. Also, players, including myself, who have not played this before, this system. This appears to be entirely new. In fact, I don't think anyone has ever done a Battle of the Atlantic game or scenario ever. But if that's the case, then yeah, we could end up in a situation where, what is that? Oh, it's not going to work. Yeah, we could end up in a situation where players keep the umpires tied up with questions. So I do not expect a screenshot because I don't have the periscope out. I wonder how close. Oh gosh, I'm completely. If this is 4 kilometers or 4 nautical miles, okay, and we are going 4 knots in an hour, 1/6 of 400. Would be 66, would be a third. So I should have this should be 66. Should be out to here. I actually got it kind of close, but still a bit far. Let's draw my line there. Let's make it a straight line. Like that. But then we have to erase all this.
Hello.
Hello.
All right. Let's see. What? So you lower periscope. So you're going by sound now. You do pick up the sound of a destroyer directly northwest of you, but with the passive hydrophone, you don't know the distance exactly, just that it's northwest.
Mm-hmm. How intense is the sound? Is it intense? Is it kind of medium, kind of quiet?
Pretty intense.
Okay. All right. Okay, then I guess you want my orders, huh?
I would like that.
Okay, let's dive down two levels.
Let's see.
Run it 2 knots and alter course to the northwest. So I'm actually going to sail towards it at 2 knots, as deep as I can get in one turn.
So you'll go down to 150 feet.
Yep, thank you. All right, let's talk about my insane decision there, which means I have basically turned towards the enemy. He doesn't have sonar. At least I'm not told that I hear a sonar ping. At 2 knots, I should be pretty quiet, although I should have said silent running. And let's go ahead and see if he can catch that. So that way, I just told him I want to go at silent running. So, hopefully, there's no sudden active sonar or splashes in the water. In which case, destroyer will basically pass to the east or the south of me. If he does drop depth charges, he'll either drop initially probably at periscope depth or at maximum depth and miss by at least 50 feet. And I end up behind him where the sound of his screws means he can't really detect me. Once that happens, then I'm inside the destroyer screen, make my way back up to periscope, put the periscope up and see what I can see. But I'm not going to accelerate or do anything noisy. Had I turned away, that might have paid off too, but it could have also pushed me further away from the convoy. So the destroyers are going to try to stay between any suspected U-boats or anticipated U-boats and the convoy. So to run away from a destroyer, something I really can't do anyway, would be to attempt to put more space between myself and my target, which I don't want. Therefore, I'm going to take this strategy. It's risky to move in the direction of the destroyer, at least initially, but if I'm at 150 feet, really it should be meters. Actually, maybe it is 150 feet and I'm only at like 50 meters. But anyway, yeah, I don't think he'd depth charge at maximum depth then, but who knows. In any case, logically, I'm trading short-term danger for long-term security. He passes by. If he's like right on top of me the whole time, then I know he's somehow detected me early on. and I'll probably spend the entire game at depth, which was typical. I don't think that. I think it was more common for U-boats to try to stay concealed and hidden because you only want to pop up when you've got a shot, when you have an advantage, when it's safe to do so, because you don't want to take a senseless risk. It's not a computer game where you just, oh, haha, I lost. Okay, let's play again. So I do like to play as though it were real. So I do play more cautiously. So we'll see. I just hope he got my silent running order because I don't want to have, well, they heard you banging around at 50 feet. Oops. "50 feet isn't that deep for a U-boat." "50 meters would be." Let me take a look at the guide and see what the all right. He's saying that we have a maximum of 200 feet. All right, so what he really means is he really means meters, but he's saying feet. And that's something to worry about or tweak later. It's not, in fact, whatever we call the unit of measurement does not matter so much. We can imagine in our mind that we're 50 meters rather than 200 meters or 50 feet, but whatever. Rules-wise, the effect is the same, so we're not going to worry about it. Okay. Ah. 700 yards, the torpedo won't arm and detonate in time. That seems a little short. Most U-boats, I think, would fire under 1,000 meters. So, if within 2.5 miles, raising periscope could reveal the position. Oh, and apparently my submarine has active sonar. That wasn't the case. All right. Well, I mean, this is a really good rule guide, though, for a first try at this. But there are some things to clean up in the rules. But even though, like, the biggest thing is really the conflation of feet and meters, but what matters is in the rules you have these increments, and at what point there are an appropriate number of increments. What you call the increments doesn't matter. So effectively, that has no bearing on the quality of the game. It's just a tiki-tack thing that only nerds would know anyway. The biggest thing that I see is concerning is that submarines have sonar, which I'm pretty sure they did not have in World War II. That being said, no problem. I don't think an intelligent U-boat captain would want to use it anyway. Because, again, stealth is your friend. It's your biggest ally. And why would you alienate your biggest ally? You can't even fire from depth anyway. Your hydrophone would be a much better tool than your active sonar. So if any of our players uses active sonar, I'd be kind of shocked. But then again, who knows, right? Who knows? Okay, 254. So I'm getting a written update. Okay, the umpire has acknowledged silent running. Maybe he just assumed it. I don't know. Okay, so 254 is a timestamp, but it is not an update. So the update will be set for that time. Let me see if I can write on here. Okay, 0248. And this here would be 0254. All right, so those are our timestamps. And the initial time was 0236. So let's enter that. There you go. Now you guys can see what's happening. All right, does this crooked line here bug you as much as it bugs me? Okay. Here we are. And it's still kind of crooked, but I guess I'll just have to get over it because I could draw that line all night long and not have it lined up.
Mic off. Mic on.
I like the game. I'm suitably nervous and concerned. Kriegsspiel teaches you a lot about the fog of war. There's a big emphasis on fog of war. So the more Kriegsspiel you play, probably the more... go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. All right. So with the periscope down, you can't see anything. You are heading northwest. You can hear an active sonar ping very far to the north. perhaps maybe 10 miles away. On your passive hydrophone, you can hear the sounds of a destroyer due east.
Okay.
Sorry, no, that's old. To your southeast, and another one due north.
And again, the one that's due north. Okay, so you told me that I hear active sonar about 10 miles north. Okay, and then I hear due east and due where?
Yeah, you hear ships. You hear the sound of ships to your southeast and to your north. Both of them are getting quieter.
Southeast, I hear ships.
Hmm.
Is it cargo vessels or higher pitch screws like
A destroyer.
Okay, so southeast is a destroyer,
Hmm.
and then there's a third destroyer in the mix, right?
Your crew has spotted 2 so far, they think.
Okay, so one at 10 miles, one to the southeast, and it's distant, correct?
Yep.
Okay. All right, let's go back to periscope depth and make my course west at 4 knots. Let's get that periscope up.
All right.
Thank you.
West at 4 knots. Got it.
Thank you. No. Someone's car alarm is going off, but it ain't me. I'm in the middle of the Atlantic. Couldn't possibly be mine. All right. No. Oh my gosh. Here we are. We're just going to be... And then this will be back at... Really, this should be here. Let's delete it. Because this is technically at periscope depth still. Oop. And let's just do a star shell. All right. Okay, now we're going to go back to 4 knots. So, like so to the west. It's about right there. We're going to go here. Oh, look at that. I made it all messy again. I deleted the one line I wanted to keep, but that's okay. There we are. Okay, let's move ourselves, our compass, and our boat. All right. And now let's type in the time. That's 0250. No, it's not 0254. Okay, but this will be periscope. Okay, now, destroyer close was here. No, it was here as well. Star shells. Star shells were here. Okay. Cleaning up my mess. Have to lay it out here. All right, so periscope. All right, therefore here, okay. Here we go. Now let's put in our contact report. All right. That is less than 10 nautical miles. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we'll be up here at periscope depth at our next time. We should get a screenshot and we should get some sort of a update on what's going on. I am so not using any kind of radio contact. There's a destroyer in the north that's doing things. He's got active sonar pinging. In fact, all right, there we go. You know, I could clean that text up too, couldn't I? 10 nautical miles north. There we go. It looks a little neater. In fact, because it's a list. Yes, welcome to, we want things to be neat and readable. All right, there we go. All right, we're just waiting. We're also missing a detail here. Every time you look at it, you think of something else you can edit. Wonder if I can write it and it will not be too ugly. Yeah, that's not very readable. Let's just type it. Okay. Otherwise, that's going to get messed up. Okay. Okay. And then this here is now we can clean this up. We'll go ahead and leave it there because that's our orders. Okay, 0300 is going to be the time. And I've got visual. Look at this. Look at this beautiful picture. And here I am on the right. I don't know how close or how far I am. But if I am within firing range, yeah, we'll put a whole spread out. Let's see what we got. All right, let's update our map. So it looks like convoy of, actually, let's see how many ships. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, about 15 ships. Convoy of approximately 15 ships with one on fire are spotted to our north. Okay, so let's copy. Okay. And we have just about sailed past them. But we are in a pretty good firing position, I think. Obviously now we have to get a good distance on them. We need to know where the heck we are at, how far, and if we can catch them. If we cannot catch them, then we have to retire from the fight. Or more likely, we come in behind them and try to clean up stragglers. I do think I saw a destroyer in the mix over here. So there's probably at least a couple destroyers around here, over here, and one of these appears to be on fire. Let's see how many columns there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns maybe. So actually this is 3 across. Well, whatever. Four and 5. So the convoy appears to me, from my perspective, to look something like so. with one of these ships now burning. So let's get our fire. And let's just go to... Smoke and fire, baby. There we go. And we'll search and we'll pull. That's the small fire. That's not too impressive.
All right, Capitan Marshal, you can see much with your periscope up now. So you're still heading due west at about 2 knots. Actually, even slower, maybe 1 knot. With your
Ooh.
periscope up,
Okay.
you can see a destroyer due east of you, heading northeast. Perhaps about maybe 3 miles east of you. You can also see another destroyer hit away from you to the north, about 4 miles away, heading towards the convoy. You can see the convoy in the far distance, illuminated by the flames of a fire. That's about it.
Okay. How far away is the convoy?
The convoy is about 5 miles away from you, due north, and they're heading east at about 6 knots.
5 miles. Heading east.
So your torpedo range is... Oh, I gotta remind myself. I think it's 20. It moves 10 squares per turn, and lasts 2 turns. So you're within torpedo range of them.
Okay, let's head west. I'm sorry, not west. Let's head northeast and fire 2 torpedoes ahead of the convoy. Oh God, I don't know what my angle on the bow should be, just because I don't know my actual.
You just kind of gotta give me your... I'll do the math. You just tell me what ship you're going after.
Well, let's put 2 to the. I mean, I don't want to. I'd rather hit a ship in the middle of the convoy than one at the front. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'll have to aim towards the front because I need to lead the target. And it's just going to be 2 torpedoes, and it's going to hit where it hits, and the torpedoes will be spread by a couple degrees.
Yep.
Okay,
Understood.
perfect. And then I want to move northeast at periscope depth at 7 knots.
7 knots. Okay.
If that's even doable with my batteries.
It is doable.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. So let's talk about my gloriously poor decision. First of all, I don't think the torpedoes had that range, but I mean, the early war torpedoes, the steam torpedoes, had pretty good range, but man, your odds of hitting anything at that distance are pretty slim. That's why I'm only firing 2 and not 4. And then at James. Tell him to reload 1 as soon as we fire. Okay, we're not going to be very quiet. That's for sure. Nonetheless, this could be our one shot. So we're going to see what happens. And we're going to head roughly... Okay, he got it. All right. We're going to head roughly this way at what? Yikes. 7 knots. Oh man, how far are we going to get with this? 7 knots, but in 10 minutes. So it's going to be 57. Let's measure. Wow, I almost got it dead on, but I'm a little wrong. We'll just call it that. Okay. All right, we got a lot of reporting to do here. Okay, and then this here. Is to be 2 knots at periscope. All right, we're gonna do that. Okay, now, oh my goodness, convoy sighted. Convoy sighted. Okay. North-northwest. What did he say it was? Like 5 miles? I can't remember how many miles he said it was. Anyway, we're not going to worry about it. Let's do it this way. Let's do this way. Let's do... bearing 090, 6 knots. All right, there we have it. Okay, and then so now we are going to fire 2 torpedoes. This does not move, does it? I could change the color to orange, however, do it like that. That'll work. Okay. Okay, so here we are. Now, let's move our boat this way. There we go. Near enough. Okay. I might get to fire one more torpedo here, or two. And let's see here. Let's do enemy course. So enemy course is 6, right? So he's going 6 knots. I don't know. We're going to say he's probably going to make like so. All right, let's see what we get here. Well, okay, I don't know where my other U-boats are now, so this information is now outdated. So we can erase it. And if we do observe our boats or get a position report out of them, we can do something with it. But as far as I know, nobody sent a position report. I haven't got one. And traveling at periscope depth, I would not be able to send or receive a radio report anyway. So I shouldn't have even got the initial radio reports, but I should have got a hydrophone contact, but whatever. That's my opinion. So let's see how we're doing. I'm going to do a screenshot for the live stream. All right. We'll save that there. All right. We'll set this up in YouTube as we get closer to the end. Upload this assuming it worked. I do need to see if you guys can hear. Components. Yeah, okay. I'm dropping dice in here so I can roll them and see if it makes noise and see if OBS picks it up. I didn't mean to. Yeah, that works. So you guys, the sound is working. So you guys are hearing what's on the audio. So you should be hearing James when he comes in to get my updates. Oh boy.
Mic off.
All right. Oh, I didn't give you a screenshot,
Mic
did
on.
I?
I got a screenshot on the last turn.
Yeah, but not this one because I failed you. I
Wow.
have failed you, Anakin.
You can make up for it by giving me a couple ships.
Couple ships. I don't know about that. All right, you get a pretty exciting screenshot.
Why is there water up to my neck in the screenshot?
All right, so you fire both torpedoes.
Yeah.
It's pretty far distance, about 5 miles away. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like they hit. Um, but you do see several cargo ships catch a flame towards the rear. Looks like something more is going on there. And you soon after see a large explosion. Um, you're not sure who exploded exactly, but some ship just exploded. Um, and
Have I closed the distance to the convoy?
you they're moving away faster than you're moving towards them. So you're
So
you're slowly losing distance.
what's their speed?
So they're going 6 knots,
What's my speed?
and you're going. Oh, I guess you're going 7, huh? Okay, never mind. You're kind of keeping up with them.
Okay, so what am I? Probably
No,
4 miles now, or what? Are
all
they
right,
heading?
sorry.
Are they
They're
heading?
going three square. They're going 12 knots. You're going 7, and they're heading due east still.
Okay, they're heading due east. So are they out ahead of me, to the north of me, or are they still to the west of me, relative?
So they are northeast of you. So that screenshot I gave you is looking northeast.
Okay. Well,
So you're heading. Well, you're facing northeast now,
yeah,
and they're heading east.
they're heading east.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I'm not too clear now on what the orientation is because either I have to retire from the fight unless I have a shot. Am I any closer? Am I still at what's range to the closest ship?
The closest ship is 5 miles away. So you are still in range.
Yeah, but still. Okay, let's fire 2 torpedoes. Reload tube 2. So we'll fire tubes 3 and 4. Reload tube 2. Then we will surface and we will accelerate to it'd be 14 or 16 knots, I reckon. Um,
your max surface speed, 16 knots.
Yeah, and we're going to head east-northeast. However, if we're illuminated by star shells or fired upon, we're going to crash dive and head south and retire from the fight. Real simple orders. Otherwise, at the end of that run, we'll fire tubes 1 and 2 again. Okay? Thank you. All right. Okay, so the war is going to be over for me very soon. The question is, how soon? And it's either going to be over for me in 1 turn or 2 turns, but it's going to end. So here we are, more or less. We're going to change this. We're just going to make believe that my first officer misjudged the speed or something, right? Of the convoy. The convoy was going quite a bit faster. All right, let's do... Actually, we got 1 more line to draw. We're going to draw it, like so. It's supposed to be a straight line. Like that. Okay, now, let's do... 14 knots at surface. Oh boy. And we're going to punch a couple more torpedoes. All right, my time was not even 10 minutes, though. My time on my report was 3:06. All right, this is completely wrong. Oh, come on. There we are. .306. Okay. And we are hauling rear. Let's see here. Not me. I'm so fat it takes me 2 trips just to haul tail. Let's see here. they're gonna have me. Let's see here. "14 knots at surface."
There we go.
Something must have happened.
Oh,
Something did
well
happen.
bet.
I just launched torpedoes. I don't know what happened.
thanks.
Oh,
I had so much game impact, guys. It was so fun, man. All these torpedoes fired and all these convoys sunk. Man, best game I've ever had.
That was the plan.
All right, let me give an overview. Let me share my screen.
Is there a TTS we can see?
Yeah, I'll share my screen so you can see.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
All right, so oh, that's really big. We'll show over here first. Sorry. So we had a umpire map and then the pretty map for screenshots. So let me just clean this up real fast. So the convoy had an interesting formation. So they had their ships were going in a line like this, and they opted to have the destroyers, one here and one here, and the same on the opposite side, which I think was one of the mistakes of the Allies. Is they should have had someone out in front, because as we saw in the game, which I'll get into, they weren't able to detect the U-boat that was directly in front, and therefore Silent Auto got a lot of free hits basically. So that was their formation. The U-boats were spaced 10 squares apart, and they didn't know exactly where the convoy was going to end up. So I think we had one U-boat up here, one here, something like that. The 4 U-boats were just evenly spaced, waiting for it to come. So early on, this destroyer, so Anna Kazan and Schultz, if I'm saying that right, I'm probably saying it wrong.
That is correct.
They both found each other fairly early on and were dueling. And Anna Kazan, is that Anna Kazan up there? Yeah. Anna Kazan managed to hit Schultz with depth charges. It destroyed, or did destroy it, jammed his dive planes downward because he hit him as he was diving. And so, but Schultz isn't dead. He had to stop moving so he didn't descend further. And he's basically biding his time. But once the fleet leaves, he can surface and then make some repairs. So he will survive. But unfortunately, he was disabled mid-game. So that was a good score for Anakazan. Marshall over here in the bottom basically snuck down between these two undetected. He did descend for a little bit and had his periscope down, so he wouldn't have been found anyway, and then basically stayed out of hydrophone range, and then surfaced again kind of behind the screen and then started launching torpedoes from the rear. Unfortunately, his first 2 volleys, one of them missed and one was a dud, so it did hit but didn't explode. And then on the second volley, one was a miss and one hit ARP, and so Silent Auto was destroyed by Marshall's torpedo.
excellent.
All right, I got a kill.
I knew it!
So
I
Marshall
knew
got a
it!
kill.
I knew this was gonna happen.
Wow, that's fantastic. Allied MVP.
ARP, as I mentioned,
Yeah.
so he came in from the front. He had a free shot, so he took out one ship pretty early on, and then went down and was basically hiding in the middle of the convoy for most of the game. And then at the very end, he popped up. He took out another cargo ship, and then he got destroyed by Marshall. So, pretty good game with
Mic
an
off.
unlucky hit at the end, being right in the line of fire. The other one I'm missing. So U303 came in this way and then down, and then by the end of it, he was kind of at the back tail end of the convoy, but he had Anna-Kazan and oh, sorry, I'm forgetting names. Kermit ended up there. Lancer ended up there. Yeah. Oh yeah, Lancer was the main one. So Lancer came down, tried to ram him and missed, and then dropped depth charges. But as he was coming at him, U303 fired 2 torpedoes from his stern. That's the rear, right? From
Yeah.
the stern. One of them managed to hit, and it hit a magazine section. We rolled to see if they could flood it in time before the flames caught the ammo and exploded, and it did not. And so the following turn, Anna-Kazan's ship exploded and was absolutely destroyed. The US-303 managed to get several shots off at the rear of the convoy. I think he took out 2 or 3 more cargo ships. But then by then, Kermit or Piers had reached up there, and he came across him and also dropped depth charges, and one of them managed to strike. And oh, sorry, let me back up. So Lancer had done some damage already, but he wasn't sunk, or he was slowly sinking with the possibility of repair, but he was still operable and could shoot and whatnot. And then Piers came by and dropped more depth charges, and he was basically sunk. One was a direct hit. So U303 was sunk, but I think U303 may have gotten the most cargo ships, because I think he took out 2 or 3. ARP took out
3.
Yeah, he took out 3. ARP took out 2. Marshall took out ARP. Kermit took out U303, and Anna-Kazan disabled Schultz but didn't take him out, and then Anna-Kazan was blown up by U303. And I think those are the ending casualties. So at the end, we had over here, Jack Daniels is leading the column, protecting it. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 freight ships left over of the original, what was it, 15, 13? How many were there?
15, I think, yeah.
15,
15,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's right. Lancer's coming back to the rear to help out. Marshall just fired all his forward tubes, so we assumed he would kind of dive and then get away from the fight at that point. And yeah, Kermit's at the rear, Anna-Kazan's blown up, U303's gone. So, very exciting battle. We appreciate everyone playing. I'd play tested it once before on a much smaller scale, so at least the rules had been play tested, but it was still slow going because it's not my normal fare. But it was still a lot of fun. I really appreciate McPanzer and Desire for helping out. And I will turn it over to them to share their side of the story, and then we'll go through the players like we normally do. So, McPanzer?
I had a lot of fun. This is a particular kind of wargaming that I'm really interested in. I had the 3 of the 4 boats. I didn't have Marshall, but I had all the other Germans. And I think broadly I enjoyed it very much. I think I need to find a better way to communicate to you guys as players the information that's available. Because I felt like sometimes maybe there wasn't enough that I was giving you to make interesting decisions. However, I had a blast watching you guys in very different scenarios respond, I think, really well in all 3 cases. Like, ARP took some early shots and then positioned himself literally in the middle of the convoy. I don't think any of the escorts ever heard him because he was hiding directly in the middle of the convoy. Schultz up there in the north kind of got dealt a bum hand when he got crippling damage, taking him essentially out of the game, but he did the right thing and stayed at the right depth and didn't try to do the last minute bayonet charge with the Kriegsspieler and kept Lancer out of the fight for one more turn, so well done. And then U303 went on a death ride, and it went how you expect. I want to apologize to the escort that he shot in the face with the stern tube. He rolled a 12 on a d12, and that's how it goes. I had fun.
Thank you. Desire?
Yeah, it was a very interesting game, a new type of game. I basically like came in 5 minutes before the game. I did not know any of the rules. I probably know less than everyone else, but so I'm so sorry for the people I umpired for. But overall, I think yeah, it was a nice game. Um, I love the
Mic off.
melee between the two players I umpired for. All of them tried to ram their ships into the enemy subs. It was interesting, an interesting strategy, but I guess it worked out for half of them.
Thank you. All right, let's go down the players in no
Mic
particular
on.
order, just top to bottom. So Captain Daniels.
Um, yeah, it was a very unique game, obviously. I thought that the
Mic
submarine
off.
warfare added a really unique element of having to plan ahead even more than you would normally. And I honestly didn't see a lot of action, so I feel like I'm not in a good place to make criticism. So I would just move it along. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, you had the equivalent of marching simulator or
Sailing
having
simulator.
swimming
Mhm.
simulator in this one. All right, Marshall.
Mic on.
I will live in Montana, and I will marry a round American woman and raise rabbits, and she will cook them for me. And I will have a pickup truck and maybe even a recreational vehicle and drive from state to state. Do they let you do that in America?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No,
Yeah,
no, no,
voted.
no papers.
You just got to tell them you
No
sunk a
paper.
U-boat, and they'll let you in.
Yeah, well, there you go. I'm thinking I'm the only one who's survived to tell the tale on my side. And as you know, the winners write the history. I'm just upset there's an essay at the end of it, but um, I tried to play it like it was the real thing, so I played very conservative and cautious. I did not use my radio. I don't think at periscope depth you would have been able to send or receive radio transmissions anyway. I'm surprised that my hydrophone didn't seem to work too great, but at the same time, um, I was able to, get 4 shots off, which was more than I expected I would get. I'm surprised I got a dud. I can't believe I hit ARP. Sorry, bro. My bad. Um, but really, I had no control over that. He probably should have moved. And so I'm going to go back and claim my Iron Cross. And I think it was a really fun game. Ran within 2 hours, so it was a great little Kriegsspiel treat for me. It was very cleverly run and well put together, and I enjoyed the 3D experience too. So I'm pretty happy with it. Thank you.
Thanks, Marshall. All
Mic
right,
off.
Captain Schultz.
Hi. So I made it, despite me thinking that I would die. I made it. I had a subtle amount of game impact. I guess. I managed to distract the destroyer. It was pretty nice. I honestly thought that when the depth charge actually started blowing around me, I was like, "That's it, game over, game impact over." But turns out, surprise! Next turn, I was told, "Oh, you're alive," and I was like, "Might as well just stick to the silent and just hopefully survive. Then hopefully they're not dropping more depth charge." And lo and behold, my distraction, that was kind of an accident because I went towards a destroyer instead of going towards the convoy. By my own fault, not by an umpire fault. I decided this for myself. My distraction worked in a way, but not as well as I expected it. I want to. Anyway, I'll survive the war probably. I'll probably, I don't know, maybe get across a medal. Or I don't know, maybe I'll get arrested because I didn't kill anything. But I
Mic
don't have to
on.
tell anybody that, right? But yeah, pretty good. Uh, I did not expect people to die around me that much. I the one more thing that I seem to not get an handle on in Kriegsspiel is how speed works. I have no idea how stuff moves every time. It's not the first game where I'm like, oh yeah, so you move at this many miles an hour and this takes these squares, and I'm like, what are miles an hour? I can't understand how speed works. And like, I'm told the destroyer is like that way northwest at like 5 squares or something. I'm like, oh man, I wonder how fast he's going. Lo and behold, he's on top of me, so I'm like, ugh, I don't know how speed works. So yeah. Anyway, I had a good game because I managed to live, and I do get a part of the bottle of schnapps because I did bet that U303 would get the most kills and that I would survive. So
Great.
I feel good.
Actually, you don't get the schnapps because I'm the one who sinks 5 ships with 4 torpedoes.
5 ships. You stole.
You're writing history already.
Yeah. Who's gonna argue with me?
I don't know.
The Allied reports.
Well, the Allied reports are propaganda, but whatever.
Sure.
Sure. All right.
Propaganda versus propaganda.
Yeah,
I
Mrs.
tried to
Silent
get a-
also
Mic
might be
off.
asking some pointed questions.
well, I'll maybe I won't get the whole bottle of stash, but maybe I'll get a tiny cup. I don't know. Anyway, congratulations. Thanks.
Lancer?
Yeah. So I didn't really do that much. My whole time I was just kind of out on the left wing of the convoy. But I did enjoy it. It was very hectic, and like trying to figure out what's going on, where I need to be, was very interesting.
You like the shared channel, the radio channel, or basically the shared voice channel the whole time?
I did. That was it was interesting to say the least, because sometimes the umpire would be ready to take my orders and I would be like, hold on a second. I kind of want to know what everybody else is going through at the minute and then come back to you. But other than that, yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Good. Captain Piers.
I don't know why Lancer says he didn't do anything when he basically crippled a submarine on like turn 3. I will say, I do have to completely agree with James in that my original deployment strategy was flawed. I was not expecting an attack straight from the east, from the convoy direction. I thought it would be coming more from at an angle. So that's why I kind of had that defense in depth type structure. So my overall strategy was we don't need to kill U-boats. They're going to be sneaky. They're going to be hard to find. We're not going to get many chances to attack them. So what we're going to do is we're just going to try and pin them down and make them fall behind the convoy and then win that way. So the fact that they immediately ended up inside the convoy was a bit of a problem. But I think my team did very well in responding to that. We did significantly more U-boat damage than I was expecting. I wasn't even expecting a single U-boat kill. And so for the Battle of the Atlantic at this time period, killing 2 U-boats, thanks Marshall for the help, and
Mic on.
crippling another one is worth it.
All right. Silent Auto.
Well, he's.
Well,
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't know if he can speak. Can we hear him? Is what 6 miles down?
Blah, 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 blah.
I did not
calling
expect
from
that he
Davy
was
Jones'
right.
locker. Yeah. I'm sending letters of complaint to the Kriegsmarine
Okay,
about one of my fellow captains. It was a good game. Enjoyed it. Interesting, different experience. For me, the fleet came straight at me, so it was, and a bit like Dietrich said, it actually came on a lot quicker than I expected. So I took some pot shots and hit something, and then I just thought, actually, as I did, I just thought they're going to come over me, so I might as well try and get into the middle of the convoy and just take some shots from there. So I managed to hide really from everybody apart from one person who found me unexpectedly. And very well done for them.
Shot,
Yeah, good game. Thanks a lot, and thanks. And McPansy, you did really well considering it was the first time doing it as well. Even though you had some difficulties, but you did all right.
Thank you. U303.
Well, Otto, Remember, next time you're under the convoy, you have to be lower than periscope depth, or Marshall will accidentally hit you.
I was for a while, but I forgot that Marshall was about, so I came up.
What's the odds?
Now, it sounds like it started out. I expected that you wouldn't drag out the opening so that we pretty much saw the convoy right off. So, but yeah, my problem was that I was trying to fire from both ends of the ship, and I was not permitted. So, but if I had been, I would have been much further away from where I was when I got sunk. That's really the only observation I have to offer, because the guy who got me, apparently I didn't see him coming. But you know, and I thought I told him when, you know, when I wanted to dive, take it to the bottom, meant that I would go down 2 levels, but apparently I didn't.
He got you on the way down.
But he got you when you were at depth 3. Way down. It was the guy on the other side of the double line from that last screenshot.
That was probably me.
But wouldn't he have had to charge straight through the middle of the convoy to get over to where I was?
I had to wait for them to pass.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm not sure how the order of movement worked anyway, but you know, I think it was a good effort at doing a naval action like this. And you know, if the Allies had had their radar, it really would have been over much more quickly.
Yep.
Yeah, again, I still have like no idea how speed works. I will never have an handle of speed. It's never gonna happen.
I setting it in 1942 instead of 1943 if you want it to be more balanced.
God, we'd have like 10 U-boats on this thing.
I immediately asked James when the game was starting, or not when the game, like when we, as soon as we got our info, I was immediately asking him like, what tools do we have? And he was like, nothing. I was like, here we go.
Right, I'm gonna go, folks.
No squid
I've got to go
mortars,
to
no
bed. It's
parties.
early here, so thanks again,
Good
everyone,
night.
and I'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Mic on.
Thank you, everyone. Sorry about that errant torpedo, Otto.
Don't be sorry.
Okay.
No problem. It was a
I'll
pleasure.
find you when the war is over, Marshall.
I'll be in Montana.
I mean, in Canada.
Did the Allies try to figure out the intercepted radio chatter at all?
We had some basic idea because we tried to figure out that like there were bearings involved, and there was a lot of potatoes and plants.
I'm going to use the code more, but we were busy after that.
Yeah, after a certain point, I realized that I wasn't receiving any codes and that nobody was sending codes anymore. And I was like, oh yeah, no, everybody's stuck in battle. Why are we still using codes? Fuck this. At a certain point, it was just like, as soon as you're being attacked or attacking, codes, throw that out the window. You're busy firing potatoes or getting the deep depth charge.
I thought I made it clear we want to minimize the radio traffic. They'll pick it up.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
I feel like I should have skipped on the radio traffic in its 100% and just focused on the convoy. Instead, I turned to a destroyer and just homed in on it. It's ironic, but yes. If you want, do you want help? Just maybe knowing what is what. I'll give you a hint. The animals are boats.
I don't think we should divulge the secret of our code here. I mean,
All right, what was it? What was it? Say it again.
All right, I need to wrap up the recording because I am done for the evening. It is a weeknight, and I gotta work. But I did want to let you folks hear the kind of the post game. I had no idea it was going to hit anyone, but I suppose it happened. And apparently, I hit one ship, but it was a dud. Common early in the war for the German torpedoes, although I don't know if we're on 42 or 43. It sounded like we're kind of in 42 there, which would mean more duds. But anyway, yeah, the system does need to be dialed in a bit, but it's a pretty fun for what it is, and I don't think it needs a lot of work to really reach its potential. So I think it's like 95% there, and with a couple little tweaks, it'll be 100% there, and we could get some really interesting scenarios. So good job all around. So I'm pretty happy. I hope you folks enjoy this recording, and feel free to comment and all of that stuff. I've always been annoyed by the like and subscribe, so I'm not even going to say it, although I guess I just said it, but I don't mean it. If you don't want to like or subscribe, don't, you know. It's a free world, you know. I've always been annoyed by that. But if you do, feel welcome to do so. In any case, thank you to everyone, and we will see you on our next adventure. All right, bye for now.